People are saying that Suga has been in trouble recently, and there's been some drama going on with Billboard Korea. We also have the label being accused of insulting, and then we have Bang PD talking about BTS, and that has garnered a little bit of controversy. So Dumplings is staved aside. Let's get into it. As of right now, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the label allegedly sending insults towards Jimin. People believe that the label has actively done things to ignore Jimin and have attempted to suppress a lot of his achievements. However, some people have come up with receipts, and I want to talk about some of those very specific receipts. I have a lot of thoughts about some of these receipts and what it is that people are talking about. So the one thing that people have been very upset about is the fact that Jimin ranked really high with his song Who, and people believe that the label made no attempts to promote that achievement and didn't attempt to get news sites to cover it and all that sort of stuff. Apparently, there were documents coming out showing what specific things the label had attempted to do a press release for. And if you're not familiar with what a press release is, it's basically when a label's PR team decides to write something, and they'll usually take that pitch and send it to a bunch of news sites. The news sites then have the option of covering that story, or they could just ignore it. This is how sometimes we're able to see the news sites like Dispatch or whatever get very close insider information before anyone else, because it's usually released by the label itself, and then things like events that are related to the artist or related to the label, or things like airport appearances, are all things that could be released by the PR team, and I think would also be included under the press release job title. Apparently those documents never specifically showed them releasing something about Jimin, and specifically about his Billboard achievements with his song. So people were very upset about this particular achievement not being covered by the media, and no one was really talking about it. But the media tends to cover a lot of things of other members, and it makes sense that those documents could just be released simply due to the fact that right now the label is involved with the court thing, and that all the documents are being made public. But for me personally, even the evidence that they're using to show that there has been press releases and they haven't been about Jimin isn't really real evidence, in my opinion. I don't see any solid proof that this is something that proves that they label didn't do a press release for Jimin. But alongside that, I just don't think that people understand what gets press and what doesn't. Not everything that a celebrity does will get press. A lot of it will, but not everything. And that can be hard to understand or believe, because when we open our phones and we look at news sites of our favorite celebrity, they'll make news articles about literally the dumbest and silliest things. But what a lot of people don't realize is when news sites make these articles saying such and such member got a #1 hit or a top 10 hit or whatever, they actually get very little views and attention on that article. They're just kind of at that point just doing it for the sake of doing it, and they're not doing it to get views. And maybe sometimes they're even paid to do it, allegedly, but I don't speak for everyone. But then above all else, this really isn't exclusive information. Like, this isn't a story that anyone needs to break. And of course, I'm not saying that it's particularly a bad story, but I'm saying that it's a story that anyone can simply Google and figure out. Like, if you're curious on where Jimin is on the charts, you can just Google it, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't warrant a full-blown article talking about it. They might not have released a press release for this because they didn't release a press release for any of the members about this topic. Them getting articles could just be because those specific news sites wanted to write about them. But it could be because those specific news sites didn't want to write about Jimin. And I can't even tell you why that would be. You never know what the media is going to pick up and what they're not. The media, fame, and just celebrity culture revolves a lot around mystery. It revolves around doing something, putting a lot of effort into something, and not knowing if it's going to pay off. There's no guarantees in this industry. And something happening doesn't guarantee press. And then, of course, many people call this an insult. They believe that the label is directly attacking Jimin, and I'd say that that is definitely thinking too deep into it when that definitely isn't happening. A lot of people want the executives to speak out and address some of these press issues. However, that likely won't happen, but the label has come out and addressed some other situations, or at least one very important person from the label, which is Bang PD. Recently, he did an interview, and first off, I want to say that he looks fantastic. I think he lost a lot of weight, but during this interview, he talked about BTS and their impact, as well as saying that he has contributed to their success and their ability to penetrate into the global market and reach a lot of people. Specifically saying that he felt like when he was younger, getting into the American market, which is the global market, was going to be something that was very difficult and likely unattainable. And then, of course, he emphasized that with him helping BTS, as well as BTS going forward and doing it, they have collectively been able to break into that market. Of course, you can imagine the type of backlash that he got because a lot of people don't like to credit him as someone who has helped BTS, especially since now the label has been under fire. I do want to say that the people that we root for, we tend to be harsher towards when they get bigger. The stuff that a lot of companies might do when they're bootstrapping, or stuff that they might expect their employees to do when they're bootstrapping, are not things that are pretty and can sometimes be illegal. However, most people in the company are aware that this is a small company, and if they're invested in the company, they believe in it, and they will usually do some of those things. And I don't mean illegal like killing people, but I mean illegal like working overtime and well over the hours that are legal. However, a lot of people are upset at Bang because they don't like the fact that he has been taking credit for breaking into the market at all. And they think that it's just BTS's achievement. But just facing the facts, we have to admit that obviously Bang had a huge part in this. He had to put the group together. He was the one who organized it. He was the one who funded everything for a while. The only thing that I think he got really lucky for was the fact that he ended up finding 7 boys who are all extremely motivated in pursuing their career, because any other group probably would have quit or disbanded long ago. Of course, there still was a lot of work that had to be done on his end as well as BTS's end, even with all that in place. So obviously there was a tremendous amount of effort on both ends, on BTS, who remained in front of the camera, and Bang, who remained behind the camera. Of course, with a lot of this hard work, it has become pretty sad for a lot of people that BTS has gotten a lot of backlash, and that even one of their members right now is being punished. That is, of course, Suga. Recently, there was a fan edit where the edit was a joke about JK singing really loudly during his live streams, and that all of his neighbors were the other BTS members maybe getting annoyed. The joke centered around all of the BTS members' reactions to JK singing really loudly in the middle of the night, and that being shown on camera. So he took moments from all the individual members' live streams and moments where they seemed annoyed, or they were choking on something, or they were looking at the wall or looking away from the camera, to make it seem like they were looking at the wall because a lot of noise was coming from JK singing. I hope that makes sense. Now, that edit was posted on an Instagram account, and then that edit was reposted onto Billboard Korea, allegedly. The word here is allegedly because the video has then been deleted, and we don't know if it actually was on Billboard Korea or not. We can just judge by the reaction of a ghost video. The edit that was posted on Billboard Korea was very controversial because allegedly one of the members that was in the edit, Suga, was then cut out during the repost, but of course was in the original video. It would be one thing if he wasn't in the original video at all, but it's definitely another thing if allegedly Billboard decided to take the footage and specifically edit out Suga and then repost it without him in it. Now, given the recent DUI situation and the fact that a lot of media sites have openly talked about how they cannot post him publicly because of the backlash that they would get from Korean citizens or just broadcasting regulations, it's made a lot of people very upset that it's still going on even after he's apologized and it's been over for a really long time. The thing is, the celebrities don't just get forgiven after a little bit of time for things like this. Unfortunately, while you and I can look at a situation and think it's definitely not a big deal and he definitely doesn't deserve this sort of reaction, it's not really up to us to make that decision as to whether he gets to go back on air or gets to be seen on air. There are celebrities that are censored from broadcasting for years, and they've still been. Of course, given that Billboard Korea is more of a mainstream platform in Korea, they're definitely going to be taking that approach when they decide to post anything on their socials. However, we don't know if they actually have done that or not, because as I said, I can only go off of the reaction of the community rather than the reaction itself. But it seems like even news sites are reporting that this is what Billboard had done. Now, of course, I can understand their frustration behind this, the community. But when I see comments of people saying, we should report Billboard, it makes me mad. I need people to use their brain. I know it doesn't always work, but I need people to try to use it. Report Billboard to who? Report them to the social media platform? Where on any social media platform does it say it's not okay to edit someone out of a video? That is against guidelines to not include someone. Can I report every video that doesn't have me in it because I want to be in it? Or are you going to report them to the police? This is in no way a crime. I might not like it, but it's not a crime. Are you going to report Billboard to HYBE? What can a label do? You can't exactly sue someone for editing a member out of a video. You excluded them from a video, so you didn't include them. That would be the same as suing someone for talking about BTS when they were talking about Mariah Carey. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. I'll link down below. Thanks for this little bit comment right here. Love you, bye.